Hello, I'm Mutation CIP. Today we're gonna try and burn through days 60 to 80 of the Amalgamation 100 days. I need totems because the gauntlet sucks. That's one of the bosses we're gonna try and get today. And then also the Inferno. Both of those I want totems for absolutely. That is simply a requirement. Gauntlet, I do not trust that I can defeat it really quickly. And the Inferno, its second wave is a time wave. It's timed wave. He's invincible until the last hit. So I just need to survive that, and totems are the best way. So we're gonna try and get a bunch of those. I need a- that's the wrong scene. Watermelon is better than lemon, right? The problem is I love both. Lemon is really good in its own right, and watermelon is really good in its own right. I love the both of them. I'm taking your... I have one. And good luck. He is very picky, and he will yowl if I am not there. If I am not here at night, he will drive you insane. Good luck. I wish you the best. No. He doesn't really care for it. He doesn't really care about catnip. I wish you luck. He will eat all of your treats and then beg for me anyway. That cat has severe separation anxiety. If I am not here, he is incredibly upset. Okay, good luck. I love both watermelon and lemon. I don't know what to tell you. I love a good lemon sorbet or some lemon blueberry muffins, but I love watermelon tea and watermelon flavored candy and watermelon straight up. And lemon is so good as a zest in so many things. So I couldn't tell you. I'm leaning towards lemon just because of how much I like it in sweets and pastries. Like, you need lemon for a good cream cheese Danish. I'm gonna be so real on that. You need lemon. Watermelon is a great flavor, but I can live without it. I cannot live without my lemon. I need my pasta. Lemon pasta, an olive oil lemon pasta, is one of my go-to lunches if I don't know what to make. I haven't made it in a hot minute because I've been making mac and cheese or ramen, but it is one of my go-tos. Anyway, 100 days, yes. There's the copy I use for thumbnails. We're on the actual world. And I need to remember to drink agua. It looks so weird on the VTuber when I drink any water. It's so goofy. Okay. Oh, I have it zoomed in from making thumbnail. Okay. We're gonna try and also sleep through as many nights as possible, so hopefully, instead of this taking, like, 3 hours, it's gonna take... Well, 3 hours to get from 60 to 70 is only gonna take us 3 hours to get from 60 to 80. That is the hope, because it takes an hour and 40? Because it's 10 nights, or 10 minutes per day, and we can sleep almost every 10 minutes. It's like 10:27 exactly up here. Which is the only I don't usually like having this up here. I kind of need it just so I can see the time. We want to use the Explorer's Compass and go find a woodland... Village, wooded, badlands, pillage or outpost? Woodland? Is it just called a mansion? It's just called a mansion. Can I search group? Yes, search group. Closest one is 1,000. Oh, I'm a phantom. Every single stream, I forget. Without fail. Is there anything I have out? Nope, that's the wrong button. It was the right button. I have that one out that way. Stronghold slightly closer. I don't really have anything that direction. The stronghold is the closest one. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Oh, you are okay. Thank you. Let's go to stronghold. And now it's 900. Okay, There's not a huge difference there. The only difference is that I can swim most of this instead. Because I'm pretty sure, actually, that's not even a guarantee because I've changed so many of the mods. The generation mods, that's what I want. I've changed so many of the generation mods, I don't know. Let me grab the flippers. We can be extra speedy through this. As speedy as I can get, really. We need to head all the way this way. It's just labeled Illager Manor. It's part of the woodland stuff, so I assume it's the normal manor. I don't know what that specifically means, because if it was the normal mansion, it'd just say mansion, right? I think I know what it is. Oh. Oh my. Hello. Is this just a chunk error? It looks like it. Is what? No, no, no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What? I can't leave. I can't escape. I can't. It won't let me leave. No. Get me out of here. Get me out. Get me out. Oh my god. What do I do? What do you do? I have phantom mode on. I can't even. Okay, I can descend. I can descend and that's it. I'm a phantom! I'm a why am I- Okay. Okay, we're fine? We're fine. No, I'm not even going up. I'm just jumping in place now. What does one do about this? Okay. Okay. Okay, I got out of it. I got out of the block. I don't... It's still broken. I just have a chunk error in my world. Okay, I guess we're avoiding that. I need to go directly that direction, but whatever. If I'm not gonna be swimming anymore, at least give me bunny slippers. So I can ignore all the damn- never mind. I was wrong. I was very much so wrong. They really need to make switching out the things easier. Is this? What is over here? What is this? Oh, jeez. I mean, yeah, might as well. Okay. It says it... So, to explain what has happened here, because I'm pretty sure I know what has occurred. This was exactly what I thought it was. I've avoided this in past instances. But hopefully it won't be as bad, because the Ascendant mobs aren't as bad anymore. But, to clarify what has occurred, because I've changed around my mods so much. There's a dark oak forest over here. It was probably supposed to expand over here. But then the new generation took over. And so now it's just in the ocean. So, what can you do? My world is very broken. I'm surprised it has not corrupted. This is the 3rd generation mod we've tested. So that's great. And hopefully we shouldn't have too difficult of a time because I can cheat like all of these. Or at least I should be able to. I see a laze. I see- why is there a rabbit? Okay, we're getting rid of the Ravager. Is he above? It says rabbit- oh, it's over here. Over here. You! I forgot I had things changing how y'all look. You're still level 0? Oh, okay, I care about none of this now. I care about all of none of this. This is fantastic. Also, there's still explosions. I still have chain lightning. Let me turn this off. There we go. Oh, there's the allays. Oh, you look so cool. I don't know what the yellow one is, but you look so flippin' cool. Hey, excuse me. No. Why? Oh, because I have chain lightning on this one. Oh. No. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I wanted to kill the creeper, but you're hit. Oh. At least you have a very cute head. Not my sleeping bag. What are you? You're a corrupted texture. That's what you. You're a corrupted texture. Okay. Noted. Noted. Okay. You're a bunch of strays and zombies. I want a good look at you, bud. You hurt. You hurt. Wait, you don't actually hurt. Okay, you hurt a little bit. I'm gonna take a little bit of damage. What's pushing me around? Blaze. Yeah, hi. You are cool. Oh, you have eyes. Hold on, let me go into your head real quick. I want to see where are your eyes. Oh, I see his tongue. I see his mouth. You are cool. But you're not cool enough to survive, apparently. There's more. Oh, you're so cute. You are not. You're cute. You are very, very adorable. Are you a sea pickle? You're a sea pickle. What was this guy? You're a cutie. Look at you. They're all. I love that there's a bunch of coral ones too. They're so slow. Let me just. Oh. Perish. Perish. There we go. Why wool? I don't know why there's so much wool. I don't even know if these chests will actually have. Oh. They do have things, yes. Yes, they do. That they do. I don't know how many things I need. I kinda want to see if I can go for advanced netherite. I feel like that'd be really helpful for the gauntlet. So let's gather some stuff for that. Because I know I just used like all of it, all of my ores, to upgrade the hammer. I need a fair math. I need 16 iron, 12 gold. Yes. 8 emeralds and 4 diamonds. Wait. Is that math? My math is always horrible when it comes to the advanced netherite. I think it's more like... I'm just gonna grab a stack of each and we'll call it there. So I don't have to math, because I am going to fail miserably and be so out of proportion if I do. There's more lace. Oh, you have a golem? You have a golem in here. I need to see if they'll do a backport, or somebody's done a backport of the new copper golems yet. Oh, there's a stack of emeralds. We don't gotta worry about that. There we go, these. I don't need extra emeralds. Oh, hi. Yep. 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 Yeah. I know I should actually prepare to have extra emeralds. Because it's just gonna happen. It's just going to, whether I want it to or not. Nope. Gold. Iron. There we go. Because I don't need copper for anything. Excuse me. I don't need copper at all. Oh, hi. Cool. Your head is still broken. That is not a vindicator. That's an evoker. Oh, I love this. I love this so much. I am rightfully overpowered. Knowledge is power. I've said this once, I'll say it again. Knowledge is power in this mod pack. If you know what you're doing, you can very easily be good at it, but if you want to have a challenge, you can easily go have a challenge. You don't have to be extremely overpowered like this. You don't have to go... Oh! You don't have to go full in on the farms like I have. Why is everyone right here, by the way? That was weird. Anyway. Oh, you... Let me throw away items I don't want. Thank you. Oh, it's nighttime. I should have been asleep like 3 minutes ago. Okay. I care more about the evokers than everything else going on here, honestly. I still do want the gold and iron, though. I don't know if I'll get more of that up here. Where? Oh, there I am. Oh, I love this. I love this so. I almost want to test how much a Vindicator does, but I don't feel like losing the 100 or so levels I have. Because I have 114. I will set a spawn here, though, just in case, just in case. I don't think I'm going to use it, but just in case. I do not have totems, so... It's better to do. 49, so we almost have a stack of iron. Excuse me. There we go, diamonds. I know for a fact we will only... Oh, there's a totem. Thank you. I know for a fact we will only... Wait, if I can get... Why? I understand why, but also don't understand why totems are part of the loot. In the chests. I expected them to be mob loot, but if I can get them just from chests, I'm just gonna have a backpack sewn solely for totems. Oh, I do wanna... This was supposed to be a magic update. I completely forgot that the entire reason I'm testing this at all was so I could add magic mods, and we haven't used them at all. I have a bunch of books for it, but we haven't tested or used it at all. Oh, this is a bathroom. Okay. Don't mind me. Don't mind me stealing from your bathroom, stealing from your coffers. Please, please, please. We already have enough iron. I just want a little bit more gold. A little bit more. No? No? I don't... Oh, ether! Ether? Aether? It's the thing. It's the shorts goof before there were shorts. So if you make this, then you'll go to... What? Don't know what that was. If you make this, you can go over to the Aether. Guaranteed. It's totally not a scam. It's totally not faked, not staged. There we go, there's the gold. Come on. Did I just... No. I don't need anything from there. They're dropping plenty of arrows, too. I'm not too worried about that. I already have enough of everything. I just need more diamonds at this point. A weakness pop. Noted. I want to at least, like, try and remember some items that get dropped from certain things, and, like, what the loot tables look like for different stuff. Because I do hope the next thing we do is either Sneak Archer or King Run. I kind of really want to go for the King, though. Which would entail... Well, we'd figure out what exactly would define a king, and then we'd try and apply it to the Minecraft Comes Alive Reborn project, which is in this mod pack. Because because I feel like MCA Reborn really does encompass what you'd expect from the NPCs in Skyrim, so I feel like it very well fits the mod pack. So it gets to stay. I love how I'm just like, this is just a chest run now. Like, we care about nothing else, we're just hitting chests. But that's fine. Oot. You have it. You know what? Yeah. Actually, let's take those. Weren't there was arrows back here somewhere? I know there was arrows in this one, but they were normal arrows. That was just normal pillager loot. All the way back here, path through the main room. Right, I don't have an elytra. I can't elytra hop. I've been playing too much of Passion SMP. There we go. Same arrows again. Okay, I'm gonna keep an eye out for those. I would love instant damage arrows, specifically for Obsidiolith. And the Ender Dragon, honestly. Both of them. I still have no idea how horrible the Ender Dragon will be. Because last time I had done a run where I was going for the Ender Dragon... Respiration, Flame, Berserk, don't care. The last time I did a run going for the Ender Dragon, I believe it was... That's a good chest. It was a hardcore run. And... like, it was the 4th or 5th attempt. What was I trying to do? One punch! It was the one punch run, and I ended up failing. And in order to get, like, the screenshot I wanted, or the thumbnail I wanted, screenshot for the thumbnail I wanted, to get that, I had to defeat the dragon, but it ended up being way harder or something like that? I don't quite remember myself. Hey, it's this room! I always muck it up. And explode it by accident anyway. Okay. It's a singular per. We'll already have a... I can go to the end right now. That is the thing. We have everything to go to the end. We have the stronghold. I know exactly where the portal is. I have... No, we did move the stronghold one because it's underground right now. We have all of that. I can just go to the end right now, but I want to do this in order. That is very important to me. No. I do appreciate that this really lives to... like, it's not overly extravagant. This seriously feels like a vanilla structure, and I do really appreciate it. The more modded can feel like vanilla and feel like it's Minecraft, because of course you can always... Hi. I think I got him on the pooper. Just gonna close that. The more modded can feel like Minecraft, the better, honestly. Because of course, like, modding can be its own thing and everybody has their own style. But there is a skill on knowing how to make your style and what's the word I want? There is a skill in knowing how to imitate other people's styles. And being able to look at it and go, okay, this is what I can do to imitate it. Because there is a certain complexity, but not complexness, to the way Minecraft vanilla structures are. Because they're not overly designed in the slightest. They are very basic structures. Ooh, this is cool. This is really cool. Oh, diamonds. There we go, we got enough now, and that's another totem. We got enough emeralds, gold, iron now. Probably, as far as I know. And it's almost time to sleep again. I'm happy with life. I know what the small backpack's gonna be used for now. It's gonna be used for totems. Let's get this crafting table down. I need to make these stupid emeralds into blocks. Boop, boop. Nope. And... okay, let's get a few more iron just so I can make a block and make my inventory pretty. Hi, Mew. Hi, Billy Bob. Welcome back. Man, I don't know why there's so many cakes. Why there's so many cakes? Oh, wait. There's a T... gotta love the lag. There's a TNT. Oh, that's cute! Is there TNT in the center? Yes. Yes. Very good. I appreciate it. Is there TNT in your face? No, there is not. That's sad. Piece of iron. I just want a couple pieces of iron. I got my headset, but it doesn't work for the simple voice mod. Oh no. Like, you can't set the mic to it? Oh, this is a warden! Okay, I seriously appreciate this structure now. This is fantastic. I like the little reference. They should make that. They should make that a legitimate room, or like something to this extent in actual Minecraft. Because this is, again, a modded structure. They should do this. That'd actually be really cool. Oh, there you go. There's the staircase. I don't think I finished. This is just an empty room. I don't think I finished my thought. You can't. I'm guessing you can't set the headset to be your mic. If you need, I can point you to the mic I use. It was like 20 bucks, I think, something like that. It wasn't a lot. I remember that. I'm pretty sure it was only 20. It comes with its own stand, or if you have a little extra money to spend, you can buy it with a boom arm. Oh, I can look down into this. That's adorable. Is there any evokers here? There's more iron for me. I think that's enough iron to organize my inventory. I just want to make a quick block. And then make that a stack. Okay, perfect. Good. I'm probably gonna get more. I'm gonna definitely get more emeralds, but... Oh, time to sleep. Hold on. Time to sleep. You may not rest now. There are monsters nearby. Shut up. Oh. Where are you coming from? Just let me sleep. Where's a spot can I sleep here? Yes, thank you. Come on. Thank you. I don't need you. And just jump back up. I still want to see if we can get more instant damage arrows. I would love that. The problem is, at my compass, they all look like pillagers. I can't tell which ones are and aren't evokers. Like, you're a Vindicator, you just look normal. You just look normal. You all have the same exact face profile. Which I completely understand why, but it can suck sometimes. Let me throw that. No, not this back. It says line with format PMC. What? Little Endian not supported. Try looking it up and see if there's some help for it, maybe? Would be the first thing I'd do. If you can't find help for it, I can always give you the mic I use. Admittedly, I do have, on OBS, I don't have this on the voice chat. So what you hear in voice chat on the server is exactly how my mic sounds without anything. When I'm recording on... Excuse me, sir. When I'm recording on OBS, I do have a few settings, I know. But honestly, a lot of mic quality is just making sure you have good placement in general. Because I've had to get a lot better and figure out... Okay, what volume am I usually talking at? I notice a lot of the time when I'm recording. Excuse me. Cool. Oh yeah, excuse me. When I'm recording, I have a tendency to mutter my way around things, and it doesn't pick up what I'm saying, and it tends to lose the, like, second half of my sentences. Or the, like, last syllables of words. So I have to keep my mic pretty close. I rarely screaming and shouting, thankfully, though. The compressors and expanders can absolutely ruin and make my quality sound really weird, too. So I think I just have, like, a basic noise gate. And I can't remember... I might still have, like, an expander. I know I removed my compressor. Because it was making audio weird. And sound a little too robotic. Is there... You're just a chest. Is there a staircase? Excuse me. Oh! Right, Phantom. I forget every time. Without fail. Oh, I'm never not gonna be tired of that. Let's just do that. Yep. Where are these stupid evokers? Are there just not evokers in this one? Because the totems being here is definitely part of the loot integration mods I have. And not... You have... What is this room? Is this just a junk room? This is absolutely a junk room. I love that detail. I got more diamonds. Why? You have 4,000 diamonds. Why do you need more? Are you planning on building your house out of diamonds? I still don't know why that happens. I really, really don't know why that happens. I think that's just a thing specifically with the chain lightning. Because that is so weird and I do not understand. This room, just another junk room. Okay. Dead end. 576. Why? Oh, Voker! Well, you tried. You did try. You didn't get to do anything, but you did try, I can give you that. Okay, so we gotta find these rooms. Probably next to this. Are you to... Nope, nope, right, Phantom. These are just back... I seriously love this, by the way. This is a really cool one. Oh, it is on the edge of a dark forest. So it just spawned in weirdly. Lovely. That's great. We love that for him. Boop. Yeah, a bunch of you guys are spawning. I don't care about you. I just want to see if I can fight another evoker. Nope. Nothing else here. Oh wait, I can walk through cobwebs. Cool. Noted. Right, food. Nope. Nope, nope. I didn't get any instant damage yet. Oh. I didn't get any more instant damage arrows, but I think 49 should be enough. I hesitate if I want to use those on the gauntlet. Gauntlet can be very annoying to shoot, and I'm worried I just lose those arrows. Can we go up higher? Hold on. It looked like I could go up. I could go up there. How do I get up? You know what? I'm a phantom. I'm not gonna worry about it. This is how I get up. Is this just a... It just exists. There's no reason for it. There's one evoker in this entire place, though. That sucks. There's only one. Great place. Would appreciate more evokers, though. Or maybe I just got unlucky and only spawned a few. Granted, I did get 6. I'm currently wearing 1. Totems. But though, 5 of those were from loot. 5 of them, and I think 2 of them were in 1 chest. And this is the same thing. Okay. It's just... They're like I'm playing whack-a-mole sometimes. Yeah, you wanna try? Yeah, you wanna give it a good shot? Can you even do 1 hit of damage? Can you even get 1 health down? 1 heart. Can you get 1 heart off me before you die? I don't think you can. I don't think so. Sir, you might want to stop. I warned you. I really did. Okay. I don't know if 6 totems will be enough. Gauntlet seriously sucks. Let me like reiterate this real quick. Gauntlet sucks. It is an amazing boss. I just hate fighting it. It is one of the It's the kind of boss that I hate to fight. There's a reason I like rewarding overpowered mod packs, such as this exact one, because I'm making it. There's a reason I like this kind of stuff. I like being able to work my way up the ladder and feel the strength of that reward. That is a very great system for me. That's the way I love to play games. And the Gauntlet is a very annoying boss to fight. It is incredibly annoying, and it protects the only spot you can hit it. There is only one spot on the entire boss that you can hit at all. And it sucks. And he's very overpowered. So that's why I want to get Diamond Netherite. So we're going, let's move this waystone down. Let's go back to Homni. This should be more than enough. Let me change some of this. 2 blocks. And organize my inventory for a moment. Wait, what? Oh, this one. And I would like, also, we have... Well, let me reorient, so... We have a lot of enchanted books, and all of these, plus all of these, I'm pretty sure are just for the staff mod I have. Some of them might actually be just general things, like the Chain Lightning. I have another mod that also adds enchantments. But a lot of these, I know, are specifically for the staff mod. I don't know how many I can throw on one thing. Like, I know Water Aspect. This is, the same mod as the Chain Lightning. Can I look up specific books? If I type in Gills, will I get it? Yes. It's just labeled Minecraft, though. It doesn't tell me what mod it's from. Water Aspect. Oh, it's grouped. It's just gonna give... Okay, Water Aspect, yeah. It just says Minecraft. Okay, it's not gonna tell me the mod. So we just have to figure out if it is the staff mod based on this. Hello. Create lava, summon the skeleton horse. I don't know what Gills does. Lightning Circle, I think, is really interesting, and I want to use that. Freeze Breath. I don't know if you can put multiple on the same staff. I assume you could only do one per. I want to see, I just saw Summon Vex. I want to see if I can do, Lightning Bolt and Lightning Circle. I would assume you can do those together. I would hope at the very least you can. Let me go, uses. Alright, let's just type in staff. Because there's a couple staffs you can make, and the way they're made is kind of interesting. I have looked somewhat into this. Because an iron staff crafting is this, and then a reinforced iron staff is that. But you cannot make a gold staff from a reinforced staff. It has to be an iron staff. So that's fun. And then you can make netherite from a gold one. I feel like we just make an iron staff, a couple of them. And, oh, you can't. I forgot there is a way to change. How do you change iron? Reinforced iron takes a cake. I don't know why it takes a cake. That's an interesting choice. Did it? Oh, it could be any of these items. Okay. So, blue ice, shroom light, cake, emerald block, or an eye of ender. Okay, so I can change it back to a normal thing. Or I can, like, push it back to just being an iron one. I don't think you... Okay, you can... No? Okay, so you can move anything back to being an iron staff. Again. Okay, okay. I got it. I understand. I understand. So iron staff takes that. So let's test out an iron staff. And I need to sleep again. Staff novice. Ooh. And let's throw... Let's first of all see if these are... They're not compatible. Okay, so I'm gonna assume staffs are purely 1 per. You can only get 1 enchantment on each thing, because you'd think Lightning Bolt and Lightning Circle would work together. So it's only 1 per. Uses. I want to see what books can I add. I can add Breaking. Billy Bob, I see. You will hydrate. I have my Ugwa. Agua consumed. Unbreaking, Mending, Curse of Vanishing, Devour, Teleport, Great Water, Lava, Lightning Bolt, Fireball, 1-2, Flame Breath. You seem dehydrated. That's actually very accurate. Oh, I can put Explosion on it, and there's levels to Explosion. I kinda wanna get Overpowered Explosion instead, because I know we have a book that has it. Critical. I don't know what critical does. I think we have a critical book. I wonder if it critical and explosion will go together. There's also detonate. I wonder if those would go hand in hand. Turn undead. Another hit. Okay. You just gonna make me empty my water bottle or something? There's gills. There's a lot of pages of this. Necromancy. Magical Strengthening. I assume that could go with other things. So we definitely want to get Magical Strengthening on it. Elemental Efficiency is another one. I wonder if those can go together, so we're gonna have to test that. Do I have how much more do you have? Not a lot. Critical Sunder. Explosion. We have 2 explosions. And we do have an elemental efficiency. Oh wait, magical strengthening. That's what I want. Magical strengthening. Let's get rid of these. Lightning bolts, summon vex, circle. Critical, elemental, explosion. We definitely want explosion at the very least. We don't care about water aspect. Or efficiency one. And I hear my cat at the door, so I will be right back. Hello, dude. Get your butt. Settle down. What are we doing? On the bed. We just going to take a cat nap, apparently. Okay. Can magical strength and explosion go together? No. Can it go together with critical sunder? Yes, it can. Elemental efficiency? No. Can explosion go together with critical? No. Can it go with elemental efficiency? No. Can these? No. So what does magical strengthening do? Does it... Can it go with the chain lightning? Or the lightning bolt? No. Then what does magical strengthening do? What does it do, pray tell? Can it go... Well, fire aspect. That would add... It adds to my... So it might be part of the other mod. Also, I kinda really want to get this. Because I think that'd be just a hilarious list of enchants. But it's 78. Could I put it on the other claw? Yes. I don't know if we need that. It would be so funny though. I'm doing it. That is most of my levels, but I don't care. Oh, I only went down to 21. Thank you, tax-free leveling. You are fantastic. Okay, explosion, lightning bolt, no. Explosion, critical sunder, elemental efficiency, no. Element, does that go with this? No. Critical sunder is part of the other mod then. So let's take that off the list. Detonate. We have a couple explosions. So I'm going to Aftershock. I'm gonna assume that's the other mod again. I really want to have just ridiculous explosion though. So we're gonna do that. Lightning bolt up there, we can throw that back there. And then we want to get mending on this. And I don't think I have any unbreaking. We can probably find unbreaking, though. I would imagine we could. And if we really like this, then we'll turn it to netherite. And make it plated netherite. If not, oh well. Do I still have books? Yes. Because we do need a trade for mending. And if we can't find unbreaking, I was a smarty pants, and I added a reroll mod. We'll need a little bit of emeralds. We need to go to Zedderek? This is the wrong one. Where am I? I need to go up here. What is up here? Your name's Flip? Okay. Ray. I need to go to Ray. I should have known. It's always Ray. Ray. Yep. And then we need to go up to the lady who's in a hole in the ground. That's what we need to do. I imagine we can probably go to the library for my unbreaking. I have a feeling we can absolutely get unbreaking that way. This way. Right here. Lady.
Hi.
Depressed. Yeah, that makes sense. Mending, thank you. And then we take warpstone, and we're gonna go all the way out to library. Library. And I'm going the wrong way. Immediately, I already know. Yep. There we go. Do you? Oh, yeah. Breaking, fireball, aqua affinity. We're gonna be doing this for a minute. There's magical strengthening again. Could I? It's 72, okay. Oh, because it add venomous as well. I'm gonna keep that. How much would it be to add it onto the other one? 41. I'm probably gonna do that. I will genuinely do that. I need to go to the spawner for that one, but we do have a spawner really close by to this location. Not the Strider one, but... I was searching for how long to find a mending book in this place, and there was one right here. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I give up. I give up. I give up. I give up. Out of all things to lose my sanity, I don't think a mending book was the one, like finding a mending book was the thing that was gonna make me lose it. But it is. It is. It very much so is. Where? I know we have more. We have more library. Where's the rest of the library? It's over this way. Somewhere. Hopefully. There we go. That's where I want to be. No. There are books up here, yes? No. Where was, is, huh? Where was, is? Here. Oh, explosion again, lightning circle. We already have these. We got it. We did it. Nope. Nope. What about you? Power venomous again. What's you? Piercing. Do I have to must I trade? Must I trade for one? I think I may need to trade for one. I'm gonna keep looking for as long as the warpstone is cooling down, but once it's cooled down, then we'll go back to the village and... well, I need to hit home first. And then we'll go back to the village and get one. I'm in the wrong area. This is not where I need to be. Where? I saw... library? Library. Yes? No? Maybe? What? Where am I? Where am is? This is... yes. Yes. You please? Men... I cannot... You cannot fathom how upset I am just to see that book. 2 mending books I completely missed. Couldn't see, couldn't find at all. And they're just hanging out right there. I was losing my mind trying to find those yesterday. Do I have sharpness? I have sharpness 3. Okay. I do need a... Despite, like, I know I'm doing fantastic damage. I would like to level up the sharpness I have, though. The sharpness and chain lightning. So I want to do that. We're on 63, so by 70, I want to have those leveled up. This bug. Venomous, ring, sharp. Oh, right, you guys are more leveled up. I already forgot. No. Okay, I don't think we're gonna... So how much more do you have? I answered, not a lot. I told you. I don't have a lot of water left. Apparently that's the one tongue twister that got me. That's a lot of good stuff. But it's not what I need. I just want an unbreaking. I want one of the simplest, most common books you got. The spot? No. I had to leave when you said it the first. If you have to leave, then don't ask the question. Or at least, like, wait for the question to be answered, because as soon as I heard the notification, like, oh, chat message. I do have it set up so I get notifications every time a chat message comes through. I answer as soon as I can. I thought this was... There's something that has, like, a hidden chest. Okay, it's not this. And that's recharged. So we're gonna go to Homne, and then we're gonna trade for a book. Hey, I had to go eat cake. Fair enough, fair enough. Did I use all of my lecterns? Did I actually use all of them? I swore I still had another one. Because I've only done trading twice. That don't seem right. Turned 22 today. Hell yeah, happy birthday, dude. Happy birthday. Let's... Oh, right, sleep. Hydrate. I will hydrate. Delicious. Nice ice cold water, because I've let it sit for so long. Where's Ray? Ray. Excuse me. Would anyone here like a job? Would you like a job? Hi. You're jobless, yes. Oh, traits, homosexual. Good. Yeah, cool. Good for you. Congratulations. Can you be a librarian, please? Hi. Please? Is there any... Why can't you take the job? Take the job. It's daytime. Hi. There's nothing stopping you from taking it. Hey. If it helps, I'm gay too. I'm just bad at social communications. It wasn't a comment towards you. It was bad social interaction. I'm sorry. Hi. Can we please do the trade? Trade. Come over here. I just want unbreaking. Hi. Please. Why can't we trade? You don't have a job. Fine, I'm gonna go ask somebody else. You're jobless? Hi. You're jobless. One of you two, please. Thank you. Hello. Trade. True Edge, no. Fortune. Collision. Try to heal. This is so fantastic, by the way. I love this. Magical strengthening, Wither. Wither Skull would be interesting, but I can't level it up. Unbreaking 3! No. That is a ridiculous price. Yeah, that is a ridiculous price, my guy. Can we just acknowledge, like, I have the emeralds. I definitely have the emeralds for it. But can we acknowledge how ridiculous that is, my good sir? Anyway. No. Thank you. And then those are the 2 books we wanted. Okay. And then we go back. We go back to Homne. Homne. Boop, boop. I probably should have done that the other way. What do you mean? What do you mean I can't? Oh wait, does it not need it? No. No, you have a durability. You can have mending and unbreaking. Why can't I do uses? You can have mending and unbreaking. What do you mean? Hi, Bumgay. Welcome back. Do I have... I don't have... Okay, where's my cobble? Singular piece of cobble. Throw it in. Thankfully, I do have another explosion book. I want to get to the bottom of this. Because what do you mean I can't? Is it the unbreaking that it's upset about? Is it the mending that it's upset about? What is happening here? Why will it not let me do this? Is it this? Yes. Okay. Actually, before I unenchant it, let's do this the old-fashioned way. Explosion mending. I can't break it apart. If it's upset about a normal mending book, then it's the mending that can't be added. I can't add mending to explosion. Make that make sense. It's not like it's infinity. Well, like, it kinda is. I'm fine with not talking on the server, I just have a better headset to listen since my other one's fucking exploded. Yeah, that's pretty helpful. Okay, so no mending or unbreaking on the staff. Now, I have a lot of useless books, and I just wasted a bunch of emeralds on a very on a very expensive trade that I didn't need to do. Okay, we're good. Taking these back. Throw those away. The clock doesn't work when I'm in the nether. So I do need to pay attention to this time up here when we're mining for ancient debris in the nether. Hold on, I do still want to add the venomous and magical strengthening to the other one. Because I think that'd be funny. Let's go to the spawner. Actually, I want Homni at the top. Because I know it's gonna be a lot to add, right? It's 72. And I think that's just funny. Alright, whoopee cushion. So this shouldn't take too long, hopefully. I would imagine not, so. I do need to repair the hammer. Hold on. Let's do that first. Yeah. Yeah. These guys are really good XP. Why you no spawn? What is happening? Am I just... If I'm crouching, am I out of the range? If I'm crouching, I'm out of range. That's lovely. Well, I can still reach them, it's just... Yeah. There you go. So this should be done in... Yeah. Oh, that got me to 32. Yeah. Copper backpack? No. No. Yeah. With how good these guys are for levels, this should be... We should have zero problem with any of this. Actually, let me do this even easier. It's gonna waste a little bit of food, but... I still have another stack of cooked meat. Hopefully that'll last me the rest of the run, but you never know. Honestly, I should just take some of the run. I'm gonna get more, it's fine. And just do that. There we go. I don't have to worry about it. I'm trying to think through if I'm going to need levels for anything else. I don't really need levels in particular. Unless I'm repairing stuff. Because you don't need levels to upgrade netherite. I only need levels for this. I don't need levels to upgrade this. So this should be the last time we use this. Let me chug a little bit of water. Sir, please come down here. Come down, thank you. The sound is so ridiculous. I don't think I'll ever get chain lightning again simply because of the noise, but it is funny. And hopefully going against the Gauntlet and Inferno, we can see exactly what Venom does, because these guys are too underleveled for my Venom to really do anything. Now they can show it a little bit. I don't need soul stars anymore, buddy. You're a little late. We did that last time. And it's almost nighttime. Come on. Come on. Come on, get your little butt down. I don't know why they have, like, the little spots on their heads. That is an interesting choice. I don't need flippers right now either. Let me move that. Oop, oop. Yeah, something like this. Why do I have gold? Why do I have raw gold? When did I get this? Why do I still have it? Lots of questions to be had. Y'all taking forever. I almost wish I was at the Strider farm, jeez. Come on. I just need another casual 20 levels. No biggie. Honestly, I'm just gonna start sitting right here and waiting. Come on. Come on. Pretty please. I just... Give me levels. You spawn way too slow. You should be spawning way more often, and way more than just the few you're giving me! Is there a zombie dungeon nearby? Zombie dungeon search. 1,000 that way. I'm not sure if that's gonna give me as leveled people, though. It's gonna give me more zombies, but it's not gonna be super leveled. Do I have... It's 1,000... We're already... Oh, we're at like 8,000 out, so maybe not so difficult. It's 7,000. It's facing that way. That's over that way, so it's a completely new direction I haven't gone. I feel like it'd be a waste of time to have to walk all the way over there, even if I get all the levels I need instantly. I'd almost rather just sit here. Oh, it's sunset. Hold on. Day 65! So we won't worry about that. Although this is still kind of slow, because the higher levels are going to suck no matter what. But I will get the 70. I will get my 70. Well, 72, but I will get there. Although the more I sit, I do wish. I don't know, is it just purely like the spot I'm in that's causing them to be so slow in spawning? Like, if I sit here for a moment, will I get more spawns this way? Is this better? Because it should be spawning mobs really quickly. It's not doing that. I assume this is... There we go. It should be doing that way more often. It might just be that I only have one spawner. I'm used to using at least a couple. But I feel like that's still a lot slower than it should be, especially when all the zombies are out of range. Unless I didn't put the spawner high enough. But it is high enough that it isn't... What's the word I want? It's high enough that it isn't... It's almost out of range. So it's high enough for that, but it's not high enough that it's still detecting them? I don't know. There we go, 61. Hello, welcome back, Astral. Zombies are being annoying. They're slow. And they shouldn't be, and I'm not sure why. Come on, let me get up here. If I pushed it up even higher, would that be helpful? I don't know if it would. But I'm willing to try just about anything. Oh right, I upgraded this since. So just very carefully expand this. You know how I only had 4,000? Oh no, Billy Bob. How many diamonds do you have now? How many? Billy Bob, how many diamonds are there? This feels like the... we got there, a milkshake situation. Or not situation, the meme. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm hoping is... take this, move it up. Nope. Add them a place. And then put a few there. And now, instead, we're gonna AFK, like, right here. And just sit and watch it. I'm hoping that will make this better. But it doesn't seem to be, and I don't know why. There's no light. I haven't placed a light anywhere. There's no... Is it because of other spawns around? Is it because of the Guardian? We're kind of close to Guardians. Is it at the... I don't think it's at the spawn cap, though. So I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Oh, not my sleeping bag. There we go. Boop, 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 boop. Hydrate, I will hydrate. Yes, yes, yes. Let me jump back up too. Get up to my little AFK spot. Almost out of water. It should have already spawned new ones by now. Like, the interval is really quick if there isn't zombies nearby. And they should be out of range at this point, which is why I'm so concerned. I have a feeling it's just because we're near a huge structure that has its own spawn rates. Because I have never seen it have such difficulty like this before. And we're almost hitting the top of this, too. It spawned a few more. So it is starting to spawn, but it's still pretty slow. Still not enough. Oh, you have a 5,865. Still not enough. Are you going for like 1 million or something? Like, what is happening here? What is this situation? Okay. I have a feeling Billy Bob's gonna use more hydrates, so while this sits, I'm gonna go grab water real quick. 2 million. Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm gonna go grab some water real quick. If that's not enough zombies, I don't know what is. Let's try this out. Oh. What is that? I love those emojis. Hold on, let me wait for the game and then we can talk. Oh, I'm at 80. Hold on. That's great. Soul star, don't care, don't care, don't care, don't care. Throw all that out. Oh yeah, right. Boop, boop. 72. And I still got 50 levels. Perfect. Okay. 3 shulker boxes full of diamonds. At some point you just need... Are we talking diamond blocks or diamonds? Because at some point you're gonna need diamond blocks instead. Omni. Actually I should have gone to Strider Spawner because that's where we need to be. I should go to the Gauntlet actually, so we can mine underneath the Gauntlet. So Gauntlet's right here. I want to go... This is level 14. This is the best area to really start mining for netherite, in my personal experience. Oops. No. There we go. And I want a stack of netherite. Hydrate. Yes, yes, yes. I will hydrate. And along the way, we're going to use everything we pick up. We're going to just fill our inventory with netherrack. And we'll use all the netherrack we pick up to keep upgrading this stuff. Jeez, that's a lot of hydrates. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to drain it to like halfway. Ugh. So this is a fun time to mention, I don't get brain freezes, I get nose freezes. And I like my water cold. So I have to take a breather every now and again so I don't freeze my nose. Oh. You seem to... Yeah. Definitely hydrated now. Oh, my nose hurts. Oh. Oh. My nose hurts. This is not... Okay. I think we're good. Okay, there we go. Another full inventory. We're gonna take all this. And time to make this ridiculous. We've already got Explosion 4. Explosion 5 is its normal max. We'll see if it actually does let me max it out more. I still have 2.6k point. There's other things you can do. Why have I not seen any debris yet? What the hell is going on here? I already have full inventory. Hold on. Boop. Get rid of that. Actually, let's see how much can I pick up. That's just purely netherrack. I do actually need to go through points again. That's something I need to plan for next week. Because this week I'm just trying to get this project done. But I train. Still need more. Not that. No. There we go. And come on, just a little bit more netherrack. A little bit more. Full inventory, please. There we go. Oop. It will let us go past. Oh. I want to get Explosion 20. I want Explosion 20, and I want to see what that does. Because I think that'll be fantastic. Oh, there's a piece of debris. 100? I don't have the time for 100. There's still other... We need to fight bosses, and I need to loot the end. We don't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Well, apparently you do. I do not have your luck, and I'm not making a destructor hammer for this. And there is a max you can do. There is a max amount that you can hit when you're purely using things like blocks, because blocks only have 10 value compared to diamonds, which are like 1,000 and something. And then netherite is a fair bit of value too. Oh, I don't need that. I should keep these in my backpack. And do this. Oh, it's night. Hold on, it's night. Let's put... Or wait, where is... Gone. Because we need to go back home and sleep. I have time for that, try me. Well, I don't. So we will not be doing that. And then back to Gauntlet. This way. Back down. There we go. I didn't want to pick up that. There's a reason I dropped it. Just netherrack. That's all I want. I can't remember what the max is, because it's 10 per stack, 64, so 6,400 times 27 is the max value you can have, so if any enchantment asks for more than that, you can't. So we're at 10. That is what I wanted, but we can definitely do way more than that. Were you mining at like level 13, 14, or 15? Because I feel like 14 or 13 I do best at. There we go, there's another piece. With a 3x3 hammer, I feel like 14 is the best right now. 300? 300 what? Oh, 640 times 27 is the one I asked. Oh, there's another piece. Let's throw all that in there. Bloop. Braid more. No. No pomegranates. I don't want that one gold. So I know when my inventory gets full. No. Oh, 13 to 15 wild level, yeah. Because I have the 3x3 hammer, I was wondering if you did 13, 14, or 15. So I'm at 14 right now. It seems to be good, but you never know. Come on. Oh, there's a full inventory again. Fill. What is that number, genuinely? What is the max? 640 times 27. 17,280. So if you're worth... Because when you're enchanting, it asks the next upgrade cost. If it's ever more than the 17,000 number I just said, because I can't remember all of it, then you can't upgrade anymore if you're purely using, like, netherrack and such. Get rid of that, and get rid of that. Come on. I need to also be very watchful of my hammer and make sure we're not killing it. Because I'm pretty sure it won't break, but I'd rather not test that in this version. I know, future versions it doesn't. Fuck it, I'll use net. What do you mean? What does that imply? There we go. And let's move the table over here. Because I keep hitting the fortress that way. Come on, I just need more debris, more debris, more... Actually, I can't use my sleeping bag right now, so... Let's do this instead, so I can keep track of how many debris I have. It's being rather slow, though. I almost wonder if going after black spirals again would be more useful. Because I only got a few pieces, but... Oh, there we go. Never mind. I'm wrong. I'm very wrong. We're gonna ignore everything I just said. Full inventory? Yes. Very much so. Whoop, whoop. And then refill inventory. Explosion. And we're already getting to the point where I have to completely fill in order to level up. I think the max is like 25. That sounds correct. Granted, the 16 I'm at is already kind of ridiculous, but what are you gonna do? I might as well. I need to upgrade this. I need netherite. I'm gonna have a surplus of netherrack no matter what, and this at least uses some of it, so my game isn't so laggy. Oh, this already filled my inventory a while ago. Whoop, whoop. Explosion. Whoop, whoop. Explosion. I might as well just leave the staff in there as well. I should have done that from the start. Especially if I'm just gonna fill my inventory with netherrack. I should, like, be listening to when I stop picking up items, but I just don't hear anything but the hammer. I hear nothing else. Or I should just actually do this for a moment and collect everything that I've dropped. Help my game just a wee bit, so it isn't so laggy. Come on, come on, come on. Pretty please, there we go. I keep trying to elytra hop. I physically can't. I do not have an elytra right now. There we go. And I think I can start mining again. So I'm pretty sure I've collected most everything I've dropped. Yeah. And then I have a bunch over here I haven't got. Anything else? It doesn't help I also keep my entity distance low, so I can't even see all of what I'm missing. Oh, we've got 2 whopping pieces of netherite. I need 16. I'm thinking my math out. It's 4 times 4. I need 4 per piece, and there's 4 pieces, there's 4 armor. So I know I need a stack of debris. It also helps I did this recently. Boop. I don't need your stupid items. I just want netherrack and netherite. Boop, there we go. And pick a ball. Pretty please, pretty please, pretty please. We just need netherite, that is it. Well, better netherite. Enough? Yeah. And then do it again. It may be 30 then, actually. We're only at 7,000, and it's at 22. It may be 30 or 40. Because I swore you could only do a small amount, but I guess not. Also, ow, why does my shoulder decide to hurt in the like randomly in the middle of stream? That's great. Love that. Ow. What are you laughing about? What the hell? My shoulder hurts every stream. I don't know what you're laughing at. I'm not picking up blocks anymore. There we go. This is quickly getting very annoying, though. Oh, hydrate. Yes, I will. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, no. I see them rolling in. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. I have drained my water bottle. Happy? It has been drained. I need to breathe. Thank you. Why are you laughing? I still do not understand. I am almost a little concerned. That sounds so mean out of context. Almost a little concerned. Honestly, this is just par for the course for you. I fully expect this ludicrous behavior. I still have more points. Oh dear. Yeah, that is to be expected. You lurk almost every stream. Come on, I just need to breathe. I think I should go back to... because draining the nether isn't working for me. It just doesn't work. I'm gonna go back to mining along chunk borders. Because that would be really helpful for me. And if I need... oh, it is sunset. Okay. Oop. There we go, there's a piece of debris. Okay, this is why I do this. This is why I like the chunk borders. Plus, it's a little bit easier to do anyway. No. No. There we go. It's almost time for me to repair my hammer as well. Nope. Let's do this. So yeah, I think we can get it to explosion 30. I think that is very much so possible. Let's set a temp waystone here. Go to Hominy. Oh. And then go right back. Temp. And remove it. And right back at it. Did my music stop because it... no, it's just quiet. It was just transitioning to songs that I happened to notice at the right moment it did. Come on. Please, please, please. I just want the breeze. There we go. Thank you. Ask and you shall receive. Now we're going on this. I am always going to trust my gut from now on. I'm like, yeah, let's go this way. I'm already up to 9. This is why I do chunk borders. I was at 10, I'm already up to 19. I've almost doubled it in a matter of seconds. Keeping a careful eye on my hammer, not on my life. My gut said rid the server all the diamonds. That sounds about right. Sounds about right. There we go. 21. We're like a quarter of the way there. Lovely. Lovely jet. Oh, thank you. I need to be careful that I actually, like, see when there's stuff in the walls, like debris in the walls. And I don't accidentally skip out on it. Oop. This way. I'm over 9k blocks away from spawning my tunnel. Jeez. Are you just, like, doing a straight shot? What is happening? What is your process here? What are we doing? Yep, okay. I should have expected. Okay, so I think the max is 30 then. It seems like it at this point. Can't tell without... oh, that is a fart. Yes. I thought that was my whoopee cushion for a second. This way. Nope. 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 There we go. Up, up. Ooh. Yeah, I think the max is 30 then. Okay. $82 to 18. That is unlucky. Let's do temp. We're gonna go to the spawner, because that's gonna be the fastest way to repair this thing. And we'll sit here for but a moment and watch the zombies flow on in. You know, let's do a horse plinko. 51, I'll take it. Slightly better than average. Just ever so slightly. Why do I have a bunch of notifications? Yep. Okay. Could I? Oh. I think that's enough zombies. Theoretically, that's all I need. Theoretically. Okay, just a few more. I need 3 rounds of zombies. Can you spawn in some more, please? Just one more bout. Just one more, real quick. Just real quick. Little bout. Little bit. Just a wee bit. You more. I have some more, sir. Thank you. I wish my luck with this is my luck for cinnamon rolls. You don't have an easy time finding diamonds? I seem to find them all the time. Whether I want to or not. Do I have flint and steel still? Yes. Oh. Wonderful. Temp. Oh. And then remove. Trade back. No, I wanted the netherrack. There we go. Yeah, we're almost at the max then. I still need a fair amount of debris of my lovely cinnamon rolls, but we should be fine otherwise. There we go. Almost didn't pick that one up. Yep, this is the way we're going. I trust this road. I trust it. Full send. I trust. I was talking. You said wish. You already have a lot of. Wait, what? You are like unlucky yet lucky with the horse plinko. You don't need more luck with the cinnamon rolls. You got like 3 stacks in a very short amount of time. In like a day. You are ridiculously lucky with that. Oh, I understand. Brain no good. Brain not work. Brain not work. I understand original sentence now. Oh. There I go. We go this way. When I stop burning, then we'll sit down for a second with the tool leveling table. Apparently this is the right way to go. Okay. I think you missed one. Where? Actually, it's kind of hard to answer where. Never mind. I'll go back through the tunnel in a second. Yeah, it is absolutely 30. That is the max. Okay. So let's pick up all the netherrack again. Ugh. Where did I miss? I'm seeing quartz. And the last bit. Oh, a little bit more. The last one. It's just barely not enough. Okay, hold on. We gonna use something else instead. We're gonna use one of these. That should be enough. Yep. Explosion 30. I should need nothing else ever. We do have to still upgrade this in general, actually. Hold on. Let me just fill my inventory of golden apples. That'll do. Then I don't have to worry about anything. What do I need? You need to go to gold? Oh, you need the smithing table. Okay. We'll do that when I get back to the overworld. It's almost time for me to go back anyway. Never mind, it's not sending a pulse. Okay. We go here then. Nope. I love how speedy I am though, because I can actually keep up with how fast I'm going through this. It's great. I got 30 at some point. I don't know when that happened. Apparently I did though. 31. Can I hear 32? Nope. That's a netherite mine. Or not netherite mine. It is a nether mine. And I'm still burning. And you stop. Oh. 33. Oh, nope. Come on. Come on. Come on. Excuse me. Go this way. Oh. There was another one. Hey, I know where we are. This stupid place. You stupid thing. Thing. That is the biome that has the Inferno. So good to know there's one somewhat close by. I still need a fair amount more. I almost feel like just going in a straight line, we literally just beeline it, however far. I just don't move a muscle, we keep going this exact direction. Oh, you shut up, thing. Let's just beeline it and see if I can... We'll do this until I hit 1,000. And we'll see how well that does. Which is still a bit to go, fair enough. But it also gives me... a good... Everything happens for a reason. It gives me a good estimate. Oh. You know, those big-ass milk cartons of goldfish? Yes. I got some goldfish recently. Because I saw, like, a weird, I forgot I was gonna tell this. Okay, I have two things. I haven't tried this one yet. I haven't tried this yet. But I saw a Rice Krispie recipe, except it was... How get around you? Let me get around. Rice Krispie recipe, except you use goldfish instead, and I thought that was actually really interesting, and I want to try that. I instead got pretzel goldfish. So I'm gonna do some pretzel goldfish, and I have leftover marshmallow cream from something or other. So I'm gonna try that at some point, because I think that'll be nummy. I ate a whole one in about 10 minutes. Oh my god. I had a lovely accident yesterday. So, we get a generic brand of soy sauce, typically. And recently, my grandma had to move in with my aunt, and so we got a bunch of her stuff and food, because she ordered food. And what was salvageable salvageable we mostly took. I was making ramen yesterday, and I grabbed, apparently an achievement, I grabbed what I thought was the soy sauce, and I made a soy-based ramen bowl. It was delicious, and I was making it was sort of chasu, not really chasu, little pork chops with it. And it was very delicious, and I thought it was going to be delicious. I thought it was going to be absolutely delicious. I was very excited to eat it, because I hadn't done this before. And I even made like little ramen eggs with it real quick, hard-boiled one, and then let it cook in the broth, because I made the broth separate. And then when I put back the bottle, it was Worcestershire sauce. I made a bowl of ramen. I thankfully hadn't put all of it together yet. I made a whole thing of broth and some pork chops using Worcestershire sauce and not the soy sauce. So I had to redo the broth. I had to redo the broth and add a bunch of soy sauce on top of the pork chops in hopes that maybe it'd help. But oddly enough, they seem to just cancel each other out. I just ended up with a mostly bland bowl of ramen. It was still ramen, but it just existed. There is no distinct flavor of anything. Apparently those two just cancel each other out. It's important to know I have a poor sense of smell. Allergies kick my ass. I have a very poor sense of smell. So that was great. That was fun. I love that. Oh, we're already at 45. That's not bad. Also, I think I need to reload my chunks, because I am so lagging out my game doing this. Nope. Oh, my poor game. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go faster, 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 faster. We're on this way. Let me go. Let me go. Okay, I think it's time I exit and save the game and reload it. Uh-huh. Yep, uh-huh. That's... Yep, okay. Much better, much better. Much better. And now we're gonna continue out here for a little while. Oh no. Oh, there it goes. Oh, there you go. Ooh. There we go. We're 3/4 of the way there. We're almost done. It's... Oh, I should have been sleeping. I should have been sleeping a good minute ago. Temp. I should have gone to bed like 5 minutes ago. And oh geez, we're already almost 2 hours in. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely need to get another water break. I almost think it's better if we're gonna go back to Gauntlet and then choose a new direction. Oh. Which way did I go? What? This way. Thank you, Nightbot. We're gonna go... Is this the way I was going? No. I went that way. We're just gonna go this way for the next. We're gonna go this way for the next 10 minutes or so. Hopefully. Never mind. This way. Apparently I'm not allowed to go this way. It's being weird. It's not being nice to me. I love how I squeak when I take damage because of the stupid bunny slippers. Oh, hey! How y'all? How you doing? How many are there? 4. I want... There's 5 of those. I want 4. I don't have a good history of headsets. Cool. What's that? I'm picky about headsets, but once I find a one I like, they usually last me quite a while. I think the one I'm currently wearing is an over-ear one that I got as a gift that I've had almost for a full year now, and I absolutely adore them. And then the other one I switched to when these run out of battery. I bought them like 3 or 4 years ago. They are at least like somewhat old, I know that. But they're still kicking. Granted, I haven't really used them the past year, but I do still use them if I need to. As you know, my last one I had exploded and the one before that snapped in half. Oh no. Although I should tack on the reason they last so long is I forced my headsets to last so long. The pair I wore throughout middle school and high school, early high school, I repaired over and over with super glue, or not super glue, hot glue. I own 2 hot glue guns, or actually I think I own 3 at this point. Because 1 I bought myself ages ago, and 2 I've been gifted. There was like 4 there. What? Okay. Okay. We only need 8 more now, actually. Come on. Come on. Last pieces. It was only ever the headset itself that broke, never any of the electronics, so I would just always hot glue it back together and hold it in place. If it fell apart again, I'd put some tape on it temporarily, and then hot glue it again the next chance I could. And people thought it was so crazy, but I like my headsets. I don't know what to tell you. I just like my headsets. I don't think I've had like a proper... I have 1 mic headset. I don't remember how I got it. I'm pretty sure it was given to me. I didn't buy it. I know I have 1, and I don't use it. I got one from the same brand I sent you in Discord, but the one I have is white. Oh, yeah. I remember you... yeah, I remember that. I love how, like, my brain, every time anybody tells me anything, I have to process it for a second. Almost like my singular brain cell has to slowly go over to the file cabinet, see which file cabinet it's in, pull it out, look through all the files, and be like, oh, this one! That is my brain anytime I ever have to think about anything. And my hammer's almost dead, so we're gonna do temp. Go back to spawner. We almost have enough, but it is very much so gonna die on me. So while we wait for a couple of zombies to spawn, let me hop up here. And I'm gonna go refill water and such and do a tiny break. So we'll be right back, and I'll let this... Yep. I'll let this sit. I love how you can always tell when I get back, because my model decides to just completely warp through space and time for a second. Okay. There we go. Come on, come on. Let's get rid of the lot of you. Lovely. And grab that too. And then we go boop and boop. Okay. And then back to temp. And I think that's the last time we're gonna have to teleport away from here. Yeah, let's go this way. So my mom let my 4-year-old cousin decorate my cake? Oh no. Really good or really horrible is the question. 5 more. Come on. Come on. No. Come on. You're kidding me. Oh, you suck. Let me through. I trust this way. I trust. Come on, 4 more. 4 more. You suck. You know what? We go this way. That's why we go. 2 more! 2 more, 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. 2 more. 2 more. Come on. 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 I know. I know it in my soul. You ain't gonna distract me. I know it. I know it. I mean, granted, eventually. Eventually. We got... we got it. We got it. Oh, I got like a stack of nuggets. I really only need 4. Warp stone. And we go back home. Omni. So instead of happy birthday in my name, it was happy jobby dash. That's great. That... we love to see it. We love to see it. Boop boop. Boop boop. Boop boop. And a boop boop. Do I have enough gold for this? I'll be right back. Let's... I forgot about that part. I forgot. I forgot. It probably would have been better to go to the gauntlet, but... I forgot. That's on me. I forgot. I forgot. Oh. I picked up gold. Good. That's good. There you go. Yeah, tiny thing. Don't care. Come on. Give me the gold. Give me the gold. 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 How much? That's not even a stack. I know for a fact I need a stack. Let's make math real easy on me. There you go. 2 more stacks. So when I have a full stack in my hotbar, then we'll have enough. No! I need to stop doing that. I don't know how I keep doing it, but I need to stop doing it. I'm gonna drop this pickaxe into the void in the end, I swear. It's gonna happen. I don't even care that I'm jinxing it. I know it's gonna happen regardless. Okay, that's enough. Oh, that's more than enough. Oh, right, I need a few more than that. Right. That still hasn't cooled down. So instead of and I will laugh. Yep. That is to be expected. Oh, gauntlets all the way. I went past the gauntlet? Okay. Gauntlet. I mean, it's gonna be faster to run there than it is to wait on the warp stone. Might as well. Just might as well. Might as well. So I don't think I even have the stuff. There is other stuff in, like, the Waystone mod. I just never use it. It's not worth it. I'd much rather just wait on the warp stone, and I never have to use it often enough that it's worth making anything else. A bucket? Dear God, no. Where? Where? Oh. Just random. Oh, hey! That's my tunnel. Oh, you can see bits and pieces of where I found lava. That's so funny to see, actually. Just how far I went. Wait, there's more. No. I love like stupid memes like that. It's great. Genuinely great. I still think my favorite meme, this is a more niche one. Tumblr, at the beginning of COVID, finally got polls for the first time ever. And so there's a very famous poll on, hey guys, let's make a cake. And for some reason, everybody lined up and picked vanilla extract. This cake was like 80% vanilla extract. And for the day after, Tumblr was full of every possible way to meme vanilla extract. There was the Bart meme of like, say the thing, Bart, vanilla extract. And so on. There was Spider-Man memes. There was everything. It was great. It takes a bit of searching, but you can still find the original poll. I think I have it saved somewhere. I've like texted it to Pumpky, so I never lose it. Oh right, I needed a block on the iron staff to upgrade it. Where is my tool leveling table? Isn't out. I've been using this often enough. Let's give the tool leveling table a permanent spot in the house. Oh no, lizard blade. Try it again. If you can. Wait. Oh. Iron staff to gold. I needed another piece. I need another piece of netherite. I need another piece. Okay, hold on. We'll be back, guys. We'll be back. I need another piece. I need another piece. For the staff, I already forgot. We're gonna run over here. We're gonna pass all of this. Where's my chunk borders? 4 more. We can do 4 more. No play. Oh, that's weird. Let me try playing it. Markiplier, don't you dare. Don't even start. I want to keep my video, but it doesn't mean I need to hear it right now. Sound alerts. Log in. Come on. Come on. Also, it's taken... we're at 2 hours. And we haven't reached day 70 yet. This may be a long stream. This may just be a long stream. Lizard test. That's weird. It works. I don't know why it wasn't. Don't Markiplier. Shut up. Oh right, all the blocks. Now it's working. I don't know why it was. I have it. I don't know why I threw out a golden apple to pick up something that can't burn. That was a poor choice. Hey, bro. How you? How you? Hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, good bunk. No. No. Yeah. Oh. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let me through. Let me through. Let me through. Thank you. Kidding me. Are you kidding me? You suck. A lot of you suck. Okay, new spot. Oh, that is just a lake. That is just a whole lava lake. Okay, okay, I understand. I get it. I understand now. I get it. I get it. You suck, but I get it. Where's the next corner? I haven't gone over here yet, so we're going over here. We go this one? Yeah. Come on, 2 more pieces. We go this way now. Come on. Pedro dance. Pedro, 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 Pedro. Pedro, 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 Pedro. Something like that, right? I think that's the song. That's definitely the song. Yep, nope, nope, nope. There we go. I literally just need 2 pieces, my guy. Come on. That's all I need. That's all I want. I'll leave the nether, almost for good, after that. I won't even come in here. I'll be just fine. Just give me 2 pieces of ancient debris. Just 2 pieces, that's all I want. That should be easy enough to spawn, right, bro? Right? That should be more than easy to spawn. Come on. Spawn. Do it, coward. Josh called Lilac a grandma. Oh no. What was her reaction? Pray tell. Come on. When I literally only need 2, I can't find any. Come on. We'll send it. We're just gonna go this way until I hit what I need. Come on, 1 more. Literally 1 more. I joined a little after it. There we go. Last piece. That's all we need. And back home now. Okay. And smelt that real quick. And then we're going to take the rest of this. We turn it to iron. Because these do build off of each other. Then we take gold. And then... don't need that anymore. And then we take emerald. And then finally, the diamond. And I do still need some gold. 1, to turn this into an ingot. 2, upgrade you. 3, helmet, move. I need to see recipes. I need to see my recipes. We just need 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plate. It got rid. That's so unfair. I got that up to level 30. That's not cool. At least I have another one, but that's not cool. Also, be prepared to hear several advancements. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Okay, my scroll wheel's being very annoying right now. I don't know what it's doing. It's getting really stuck. Okay. I guess we're going back then. What time is it's a day in? Did I accidentally not sleep again? I think I did that. I think I did. I think I did that thing. Okay. Let's take one of our anvils. There's our other explosion. Give it explosion. There's one particular spot on the scroll wheel, it just keeps getting stuck. It's very annoying. Now it's not. Maybe it's just going forward. I don't know. Also, I think it's funny. There it is. I don't know. I don't know what it's doing. Honestly, I hate using the numbers. Squirrel wheel supremacy every day. Also, we're not going for netherite, even though I can. Actually, let's see how much is cinnamon. It's worth 50, so I will actually grab them. Because I assume if I actually make some of these into netherite ingots, it's probably going to be worth a lot, so that'll help me upgrade even faster. So it looks like we're getting some more netherite, apparently. Actually, the gold alone is pretty useful, too. There's nothing else I want to make netherite. You can't upgrade a hammer to netherite. So that's out of the question. I could use quartz. That is actually an option here. That is very much so an option. Let's first off... this... then this. And make some gold. Keep 4 of it. And make sure my mouse has the side buttons. I do sometimes, but sometimes those can be expensive and out of my price range. So I just have like a very typical... I don't want Bluetooth mouse. I think that's is my problem when I'm looking for mouses now. Or might. I'm not sure if I should say mouses or mice. How much is a netherite ingot worth? Only 200. Okay, never mind. A single. Okay, I see why. I don't agree with it, but I see why. I told you how I only had 2 monies. Oh, yeah. I just avoid buying things if I can. And I have an absolute hatred for Bluetooth mouses. I don't like them. I really don't. Also, I'm curious. I'm pretty sure quartz is worth a fair amount. It's worth 40. So that's better than a lot of the netherrack. So instead of netherrack, let's go for quartz. Nope. Yep, that'll happen. I need to get the hammer out of my inventory then, because I don't need it. And then throw that up there. Bloop. We just want this. Because fortune ever so slightly does affect it, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it is literally just the gold. This is still very much so a way we can do this, though. It does suck, however. Lizard. Okay. I can't. No. This is why I do the blocks. This is why I do blocks. Okay. So, do we... Yeah, we'll just do blocks. We're just gonna do blocks. We're just gonna do the blocks. This is why I do blocks. I forget every time. I try and do a better way, and then I'm like, oh, right. Blocks easy. No thought in head. Only block. Also, I will try my best. We're gonna do our best to get to day 80. I don't know how late we are gonna necessarily stay up, because it's already like 9:30. We're almost 2.5 hours in, and we've only done 10 days. Which is honestly kind of sad, actually. I was hoping this would go by a lot faster. I was hoping we'd be done with the stream by now. But I have not necessarily been the best about sleeping every night, especially considering... Hey, there's a piece of debris. Especially considering that we've been in the Nether. There we go, get a few levels down. Let's refill inventory again. And pick up a bunch of the stuff I've left behind. Come on, give me ash. Ash. Give me the blocks. Okay. Yes. Good. Need the block. It's amazing, like, how long it actually takes to fill an inventory, even with netherrack. Fortune 100. We already have Fortune 10. If I'm only getting, like, 1 to 4 pieces with Fortune 10, I don't think Fortune will affect the quartz. Because it already affects the gold, the copper, the lapis ridiculously. If it doesn't affect quartz at that point, quartz don't work. There's some things that just simply don't work with upgraded Fortune. They do have a cap. Boop, boop, boop. Come on, give netherrack, give block, give, yes, block, give. Me you give, you give, me give you block, yes. Yes. That's just another, I felt like it was so much more popular, but every time I mention that meme, the longest sentence a monkey has ever signed, it might have been broken at this point. But there is a meme, or somebody made a meme or video about it at some point. I love it. Every time I reference it, I have to look it up to show it to people, because they don't know it. I apparently missed a bunch here. I'm not mining for ancient debris anymore. I can just... We're just doing this. We're just gonna do this. We're gonna obliterate this entire area. Because I don't need anything other than the netherrack right now. Oop. Is that enough? No. Come on. We're at 14. I still need way more than that. I think you said something about it yesterday, the day before on the server. Yeah. It was like 2 or 3 days ago with Lilac and Misty when we were all on getting debris and we were having trouble with the item clear lag mod. And we were having to work around it every minute. That was fun. Also, day after, it decided to come back again. And then it's disappeared since. So I don't know. I really don't know. I have officially completely removed it from the server. It's out of the config. The files aren't there at all. So hopefully it's fine now. Hopefully. I have yet to see it attempt to work since. It did stop working towards the end of, It did stop working towards the end of me and Lilac being on, because we stayed on a lot longer that day. When I had 4 stacks of cinnamon rolls. Yes. All the cinnamon roll. I can go way deeper than this. I can I completely forgot I'm at 14 and not, like, 5. Also, it's interesting, I don't know why Ancient Debris was coded as it is. Because diamonds, the lower you go, the better it is. But Ancient Debris, no. I'm very curious what the developer's reasoning is for that. Because that's a very peculiar choice. Nope. There we go. And then we're gonna place that right there. We gotta burn through this. I'm very genuinely curious about that, though. Because my first thought is maybe mods or something. I wonder why they wouldn't have any spawn, or make it, like, extremely rare to spawn any lower than, like, 13 or the 13 to 15 range. Because that's where it's most common. But in the Nether, the most common would be where I'm standing right now at Y5. Because the overworld's equivalent to that is the -59 that I always do for diamonds. Is that diamonds, the way it scales, is the lower you go, the better. And the lowest you can go without constantly hitting bedrock and having to avoid it when you're mining is -59. Even if people recommend, oh, go do -56, -58, that's not how diamonds work. That's just not how they work. The lower you go, the better it is. Go as low as you can possibly go. That's how they're coded. So that's how I mine. You give me all the block. Oh, my hammer's almost broken. That's bad. That kind of sucks. that kind of sucks. That's not nearly enough. Okay, we set up a temp. It is night, actually. I do need to sleep. For day 70, I don't have any mods in mind. I will look in between, I will look tomorrow, and see if there's anything I'd like to add in for day 80. Oh, I need to go spawner. I need to be here. I need to sit here and wait. Oh. There we go. And wait. For some zombies. Also, ow, shoulder. Ouchie. So it took 2.5 hours. I seriously want to get this done this week. I would love to do that. Because I have no... I want to be in bed in a half hour. That's the problem. I would like to be in bed in a half hour. We didn't even get any of the bosses today. That's what I wanted to do. That sucks. And that gives me less time to do both Gauntlet and Inferno tomorrow. Because I do not have the time to stay up for another 2.5 hours. I gotta be up early tomorrow. I need to get stuff done for this. I need to get stuff done for other things. I feel like once again I'm giving myself an impossible task. Because I would love to both get this fully done and reach day 100 by like tomorrow or Saturday. It is currently Thursday. And I would also, at the same time, like to at least get my mega base designed, if not built, in Passion SMP. I do not have time for both. I don't know why I thought that was possible. I made those plans last night. That is an impossible feat. I always over-consider what is even feasible for me to do. Come on. Let's repair this, and then we can leave ourselves at the temp. Because this is impossible. I cannot do this right now. So I think we log off tonight, because I do need to head out, get ready for bed. And I will look into maybe adding some mods. I might skim through some of the old VODs and see if there's anything that I would like to change or add on to. I can't really think of much. Right now, what we have, I really like. I have no qualms, concerns about it. I am tempted to remove the mods that have like the chain lightning and stuff because it gets really confusing with the staffs. I do want to see if I can find a mod that can describe like the books, the enchanted books, and tell you what they do. I don't know if that would work with the modded stuff. I'll have to see. Yeah. I don't have any more thoughts than that, really. So tomorrow we'll do 70 to 80. And then Saturday we'll do 80 to 90. And then Sunday 90 to 10. Or 90 to 100, not 10. And I will try... Hopefully then we'll have the video up like Monday, Tuesday, depending on how things... Probably Tuesday. Because if I finish... Tuesday, Wednesday, let's go with that. If I finish streaming it Sunday night, and I'm editing Monday, give me some extra time to edit Tuesday, it'll be up Wednesday. So let's go with that. I think that's a good date. And then when I'm not streaming for the next couple days, I'll be working on the Mega Base and designing that, which has been fun because I want a very specific thing, but I can't quite find the way I can actually do that in Minecraft's limitations and the limitations of physics. Rooms are crossing over each other is the issue. The way I want rooms to go are crossing over each other, so I have to figure out how to fix that and make it look right and work. But anyway, that'll be it. Do I know anyone streaming right now? Do we know anybody? Do I know people? Twitch? Let me actually go to Twitch, because sometimes my Twitch widget just doesn't work. And it'll say that nobody is when there is someone. Okay, there is just flat out no one. It is just flat out nobody. Okay. Alrighty then. That'll be it. Thank you all for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.